Hey guys, hope everybody's doing fine. This is Shift Break with Alex and Nick. So, Japanese Grand Prix is done and dusted. What an eventful Grand Prix it was, with Kimi Antonelli finally winning his second race. Kimi Antonelli has won 2 races in succession right now. So does this mean that it's a big fight for the finish between Russell and Kimi? Only time will tell. Alex, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Definitely some things we learned from this race that we do need to talk about. But congratulations to Kimi. Congratulations to Oscar for actually getting to start. And as he aptly said, now that we actually can start the car, it's not too bad. And of course, blessings and prayers and relief for Oliver Berman and his crash, that it was not as bad as it could have been. So that's definitely going to be one of our main top points.
Yeah, that actually everything was dominated by the crash of Oliver Behrman, which was unfortunate. And before we talk about it more in depth, let's first look into the results of qualifications and how did it go. So there were 2 shockers in qualifications before. So the first qualification shocker was Max Verstappen did not qualify in top 10. So that was a huge bummer and huge surprise, where Hajar outperformed him in qualification. The second one was Oliver Behrman, who did not get to do Q2, where he exited that. For me, it was a big shocker because he was performing really well in the last 2 of the Grand Prix. So besides this 2, the result table was, I will put it out on the screen too, Antonelli qualified as P1 for the second time, with Russell as 2 and 3 as Piastri. Ferrari guy that was who led this chart this time around was Leclerc at 4, 5 was Norris, 6 was Hamilton, 7 was Gasly, 8 was Hajar, 9 was Bortoleto, and 10th was Abel for Racing Bull. So this means Max Verstappen was outperformed by Racing Bull's driver. So very bad season so far for Max Verstappen. And what a season Kimi Antonelli is having, man.
Well, honestly, Max going out in Q2 is not as big of a surprise as you would think it is. Just giving on how last race went and the car's performance, I was not expecting him to be anywhere near the top 5. I'm more shocked that Behrman did not get out of Q2. That's more of a shocker to me based on how this season has gone. This is not the first time that Racing Bull's driver outperformed Max this season. And sadly, I don't think it's going to be the last time either at this rate. But at least Max, throughout the race, got himself up a few positions and ended 8th. I mean, it's something. It's at least points. I think just based on the vibe. I mean, you saw it when Gasly overtook him again. He just waved. He's like, okay.
He was waving.
So he kind of doesn't even care, I don't think. And that's what we've already mentioned. Kimi, really, really pleased to see his development at such a young age. He is definitely making a lot of improvements, but he's got also the maturity to acknowledge some things he's still pretty raw in doing and needs to improve. And I think overall Mercedes needs to improve. Mainly is their start package, because they did not start well. Like the fact that Kimi went down to 6th just instantly. The Ferraris, the McLarens clearly had a way better setup for their start off the grid, and both Russell and Kimi dropped. But luckily, of course, they have the fastest car, so it doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. But yeah, that's something that Mercedes needs to look at.
I am very impressed with Kimi. To be really fair, in this situation at such a small age, he is outperforming Russell twice now. So once you do it, you think, okay, he's talented. At this age, this is giving me a glimpse of Hamilton when he went against Alonso in the first season which he had participated, and people thought that okay, Alonso is going to have a cakewalk and Hamilton is good and he's going to show his skills maybe 1 or 2 races, but every race he was there and thereabout, and he has beaten Alonso too. So I believe this is some kind of reputation of that season with Mercedes. And now I think George has to take him seriously. He cannot be in a situation of taking him lightly now. He is leading. He is the new leader of the championship, the youngest driver to lead a chartboard for F1. And now George has to take it seriously. Kudos to Kimi. Excellent job, dude. You are growing in confidence, and that is scary for everybody else. One of the biggest things which happened besides Kimi winning was Piastri. So McLaren's finally showed some kind of pace
Yeah.
And people are thinking it is a surprise, but did you guys forget that they are the reigning champions? So if those people who forgot about it, they are the reigning champion, they should be in at least in the podium situations. So yeah.
No, so obviously people had kind of put them aside after the first two races because their car was clearly having major issues. You know, the fact that both drivers didn't even get out of the garage last time around in China. But I do have to say, after Suzuka, they definitely are in a top three mix. They definitely have pace to compete with the Ferraris for sure. Now, Mercedes are kind of still in their own bracket, but I think it's definitely a positive sign that they have a podium already. Lando was fifth. Both drivers in top five is definitely a big step up and
Lando
more
was
positive
nowhere,
for the rest of
Oscar.
the season. Yeah.
Lando was nowhere, Oscar. Oscar outperformed him completely
Oh, for
in
sure.
same practice sessions, same qualifications. And let's talk about the race next. And that is Kimi internally won the race with uh, 13 seconds behind was Piastri. Leclerc was at 3. Fourth was Russell. Fifth was Norris. Sixth was Hamilton. Seventh was Gasly. Eighth was Verstappen. 9 was Lawson. And 10 was Ocon, giving the final point for himself. So, the first thing to talk about, congratulations, Kimi. You have won 2 Grand Prix in a row. And now you're leading the charts. You are leading the championship. So, congratulations, dude. I still believe that this is an incredible journey where he is going to dominate the sport. And this is just the start.
No, I mean, he's a really likable character, and I
Mm.
really like how he speaks. He's very like grounded. He's not too flagrant and stuff. For a 19-year-old, I think it's very impressive. His mentality.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, he still has things to work on. Like, he's definitely not the finished article anywhere near it, but it's definitely big step ups for him. Hopefully he can keep it up. I think, well, for Suzuka, the key topic in why Kimi won, and it definitely was a help, was the safety car. I think the
Yeah.
timing of it, and I know Russell is seething. He is boiling about this situation, and we could hear that in his interview after the race. But that safety car timing was everything, I think, for Kimi. And it probably is the reason why Russell didn't get the podium. But I was
True.
disappointed that Lewis ended sixth because he timed his pit stop perfectly with the safety car and he got up to third, but then kind of just fell off. I don't know what happened. There was some issue with, like, he had some lockups in his car. Yeah, a bit disappointing that he couldn't get higher than sixth.
Yeah, it was. It was. I thought both the Ferrari people had an incredible pace where they could match each other, and there was a fight between it. But I think drivers are still trying to understand how to cope up with, when to brake and recharge the batteries with a situation, and that's where the difference is lying between two drivers of when to brake or when to harvest the energy. And some people have got used to it, some people are just struggling, like Max. He is completely struggling. I don't know, he's completely zoned out in a situation where he doesn't want to, where his mind is, because there could be a lot of reasons. And where do you see this is going?
Yeah, I think he's just not even trying to learn the car or the braking. I think his motivation and ambition this year is not there. We've talked about this. He's mentally clogged out. So I don't think he's even putting too much effort into even adapting.
Yeah, I resonate with you on this, and it's a little sad to see him that way, because I wanted him to fight, even though the car is not doing well. I don't want him to give up, but slowly, all the drivers who are driving are understanding what he means, and maybe they also had a similar opinion long time back, but they were never that vocal. But the incident which I want to talk about right now, and which shook the entire product very well, and it needs to be like that. The incident is about Oliver Beeman's crash. He had a 50G crash according to Haas, and this was when he was flat out around 190 mph, and on a curve, he wanted not to crash into Colapinto, and he went straight into the barrier through the gravel. Now imagine this situation. First of all, let me tell you, IA has confirmed that he is doing fine. He has just some issues with his knee. So I hope everything is fine and there's nothing major with his health. Now imagine this circuit was not Japanese Grand Prix. Imagine this circuit was some kind of street circuit like Baku or any other which you can, or Singapore. There are no gravels to stop the car. In this situation, just a knee injury would have not happened. FIA has to take some serious repercussions, make some serious changes to their rules. This has happened because of the new regulation change where the drivers are trying to optimize their battery in on the turns or on the slopes or in a situation where they can recharge. This is the second incident, mind you. Colapinto had almost a crash while starting in the
Yep.
first Grand Prix. If you remember, when he was trying to start and he almost collided with the other driver.
It was Lawson who couldn't start, and Colapinto had to quickly move because Lawson was just still.
See, I believe these are 22 drivers are the best in the world. That's why they have the seat. You don't want to challenge them in other perspectives. First of all, this is fake racing. Let's be clear about it. This is a situation where we are trying to sugarcoat it. Like, okay, let's talk about it positively about this season and not talk about it in negative and try to understand this. This has nothing to do with drivers' skills. A driver becoming slow on straight is not racing. So in a situation where they are doing all these things, one driver will always be slower than the other, and you're always risking these kind of situations. Behrman had a crash and he escaped. Are we waiting for something major mishap to happen? I'm just calling out the FIA right now. Are we waiting for something really bad mishap to happen for rule changes? The entire product is talking about it.
Yeah, no. Let's first of all, nothing that Colapinto did inherently was wrong. Like it was just the car situation. It's what all the cars go through. It's not that he caused the crash. Let's just put it out there. That's not his fault. Yeah, this is something that's been going on all season so far, that it's all about battery management. And I'm getting really tired of constantly hearing, about charging energy. He's managing the battery constantly. Like, I'm hearing this from the commentators during the race. I'm hearing this from every driver after the race. They're talking about, oh, you needed to optimize the battery on the straights. We heard Leclerc during qualifying saying, what basically all of us think, that racers are being punished for trying to go as quick as they can into corners, and they're basically getting punished because of the battery situation, because it just drains the battery, and on the straights they just have no pace. Yeah, I'm just surprised that before Suzuka they had 20 something days to really make a decision or consider, okay, this is not working, and now you have a crash, and your whole argument of this new regulation being done in the best interest of drivers, safety concern. I think we can clearly see this new change is a safety concern. It's very obvious. And you make a good point. He was very fortunate, Behrman, that he only came out with a minor fracture in his knee and such. Like, if this was a different circuit, this could have been a very ugly affair on the FIA's hands. So if this does not push them to make immediate considerations and actions, I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the season holds.
This is just a sport, let's be honest. He has so many relationships back at home, and something, God forbid, happens to him, who's answerable to it. And that too because of some kind of lack of understanding from the people who have made these decisions needs to be called out. And it's not like people are talking about after the crash. People were genuinely concerned about it in 2023 when the regulations were being discussed around everywhere. So it's not happened overnight. So people could have made the changes in the right powers. Now they have tried and tested it for the 3 Grand Prix. And we have seen 2 incidents at least. There might have been more instances where F1 television has missed it. But in these situations, everyone, I would like to let you know what the other drivers are saying, at least prominently. Max is saying, one guy is completely stuck with no power, basically, and then the other one uses the mushroom mode, and it can be 50 to 60 kilometers difference, which is quite a big difference. If it's all about safety, it's easy to fix things. Maybe we should use the word safety for it to finally make some changes. And I am with Max on this. Then Carlos Sainz is saying, I'm hopeful from FIA will come up with something better for Miami, given that fact, the incident with Ollie that we saw today. We have been warning them about this happening, and these kind of closing speed is the speed on the corners, closing speed and kind of incidents where always going through is going to happen. And I'm not very happy with what we have had up till now. I hope it serves as an example. So it's just I have just two examples, but Lewis also was talking about it. There was Lando Norris also has finally come out and said some things about it. We cannot wait for drivers going through this situation again.
Yeah, we'll see. We should hear something in the next few days. There's no other choice.
FIA has made a statement saying that they have confirmed a discussion in a meeting in April, first week of April, about changing these new regulations, and rightly so, and they have to. This discussion has to make some this changes. I request, we are very small in the YouTube community right now, but I request all those people who are in the YouTube community on a higher scale, I request them all to be against this. And because if something bad goes wrong, we are also entitled. If we are supporting something this bad, then I guess somewhere the blame lies on also the people who consume this product.
Well, cash is king, but the main responsibility will lie with FIA and what they decide to do. All we can do is just watch it and give our opinions on it, and then we move on.
Something a little less serious now, and look into a conversation where in previous videos we made bold predictions about who's going to win or who's going to qualify in top dominators and the best racers of the race, the podiums, and something called as Latifi moments. The predictions which we made, first of all, let's disclose what is the score. It is Nick 1 and Alex 0 until today's disclosure of the prediction, the results. So we had the predictions for qualification. The top qualifiers would be, I had predicted Charles as 1, second as George Russell, and third as Lewis. Whereas you had predicted Lewis as 1, second as Kimi, and third as Russell. So the actual results for qualifying were internally Russell and Piastri.
Yeah.
Piastri was a dark horse, so nobody made a bold.
No, in all fairness, we had not considered McLaren because they were just not even competitive at that point. So we could not, there was no way of telling.
But we did predict that he's going to start the race.
Yes, well, predict or just hope. I think it was first and foremost just hope that he would be fine. If he had did not start three races in a row, I mean, we would not be talking about Max not wanting to race. I think Piastri would be like, hey, I'm just not even.
Top highlights, yeah.
Yeah.
So in this, we win nothing, I guess, all three of us. So we did not have any points on this. But when it comes to race dominators who have dominated the race and the podiums which we got, the podiums were Antonelli 1, second was Piastri, and third was Leclerc. So George Russell win. So my results were George Russell winning the Grand Prix, Charles being second, and Kimi being third. So I got it absolutely wrong with not even a single point out of it. Whereas the master of prediction now, I would say, Alex, got Kimi correct. He had predicted Kimi, Lewis, and Charles. So in his predictions, Kimi was correct at P1 and P3 Charles. So he has 2 points, and
I get
that
2 points from that one.
So that means the scoreboard has changed from Nick 1 to Alex 2. So congratulations, you're leading the board right now.
Thank you.
And the Latifi movement, I went and said that Max is going to be the Latifi movement guy, and you said Lawson.
So I wouldn't say there was a noticeable Latifi moment for me in that sense. So like I'm fine with that.
Okay, that's well and said and done. And Lawson was your Latifi moment, where I don't think so. He has got points and he did an incredible job.
He did get points, the scoreboard during the race, but I didn't get the point from him doing anything stupid.
He was full of dramas and everywhere. The battle between Lewis and Charles stood out for me. If that was not there in a situation, and even Charles doing some incredible moves on George Russell, if these two aspects were not there in the race at all, I believe we would have had one of the worst race ever because of Oliver's crash. But yeah, I will not remember this race in fond memories. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, we have to just give a little bit of thanks to Ferrari, because if not for them letting their two racers just go head to head, we would not have as much entertainment out of these races, because in the Chinese Grand Prix and now, of course, Suzuka, one of the main things we are like happy to watch is Leclerc versus Hamilton in the Ferrari.
I want to emphasize this again, that George has to take Kimi seriously now, because you cannot think that he's just a rookie guy who's just going to be driving in your shadows. George, wake up. I think there was some problems with his car. He was not optimized completely, but I'm expecting that this season is just going to go around these two guys, because no team is going to catch up. And if they do, I would be very excited.
One final thing, we did not get any confirmation of a decision made by FIA regarding the front wing situation of the Mercedes.
No, we did not. I think all this closure is going to happen in the first week of April, where they're going to sit to discuss this, and that is like in few days' time.
I'm hoping that they do make some big changes with the battery and engine ratio. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, guys. Congratulations, Alex, for 2 points, and I hope this fight continues between you and me. This is Alex and Nick. This is Shift Break.